Hello, my name is Catherine Drummond and I'm from Gingerbread Girl Designs, and today's tutorial is on how to make a twisted cord in a single color. If you can see here on these ornaments that I have here, I've got twisted cords that go all the way around, finishing off the edges of these and making a tie on the top. And I have made these myself using the method that I'm going to explain. The first thing that you want to do is collect up all the materials that you're going to need to make your twisted cord. So first of all, you need your item that you want to make a twisted cord for, and in this case, this is going to be an ornament that I'm in the middle of making. Then you want some thread that you want to make your twisted cord with. I'm going to use this number 8 pearl cotton. You'll need some scissors to cut that with, and you'll need a measuring tape so that you can measure the things that you need to measure. Now, some of these other things are optional, but I do find them useful. So you need something to attach one end of your threads to. I like to use this hook and hold it down to the table with this clamp. You can also use a cupboard knob or a doorknob or anything that's a fixed point. If you're really desperate, you can ask somebody else in the house to hold the other end for you, or you can tape it down to a table. But if you use tape for it, you want to make sure that it's taped down really, really well, because if it comes loose when you're in the middle of making your cord, that's pretty annoying. So you don't want that. Then you'll need a weight to use when you're almost finished the cord, and I made this little weight with a pretty stone that I had and a lobster clasp, but you can use a set of keys that are on a split ring, or you can use a fishing weight. And this is called a twister or a spinster. Different brands call it different things, and this is really useful, but you can also just use a pencil instead of this. And I'll show you how to use the pencil when we get to that point. So to get started, first we want to know how much cord we're going to need. So what we're going to do is we are going to measure around this ornament, and it doesn't have to be a super accurate measurement. A rough measurement is close enough. That is 11 inches. And then I'll want a tie on the top. So I'll need about 7 inches for that. And I'm going to add about 6 inches, say, for the knot that I will tie. And that is going to make 11, and 7 is 18, plus 6 is 24. So 2 feet of cord is what I want. So I am going to multiply that number by 6. So I'm going to make it 25 to make the math easier, and that's going to make 150 inches. So the pieces of thread that I'm going to cut are going to be 150 inches. That seems really long, but the reason that it has to be so long is you're going to fold them in half twice. So it actually ends up being a quarter of that. And you want to make sure that you have enough wiggle room for the shortening that's going to happen when we twist the cord, and a little extra just in case. So I'm going to cut my pieces of thread 150 inches. Now, how many pieces of thread am I going to cut? What I like to do is I like to take my thread that I'm going to use, this number 8 pearl cotton, and I see how it looks when I twist it up. So this is, if I cut one piece of 150 inches, then it will end up being 4 threads thick, my cord. And if I twist that up to see what that's going to look like, I think that's a little skimpy. So now I'm going to double that and see what that looks like. And honestly, I think that's a little skimpy too. So let's see what it looks like if I double that again. And now I think we're getting to a thickness that I like. So that means I'm going to cut 4 pieces of thread that are 150 inches long to make enough cording for this ornament. Okay, as you can see here, I have my 4 pieces of thread. I didn't actually make them 150 inches long because that would make it difficult to make the video and for you to be able to see exactly everything that's going on. So this is just going to be, we're going to pretend that these are 150 inches long. So I have my 2 ends here and I'm going to put them together and I'm going to tie them all together like this. And make sure that that knot is really good and tight. Now I have this thread and I've tied the 2 ends together so it's made a big loop. And I'm going to take one end of the loop and I'm going to hook it on this hook that I have clamped onto the edge of the table. Now again, you can use anything to hold this end of the thread, like a doorknob or the knob on a cupboard or your husband or, you know, a piece of tape. Any of those things should work. Now we're going to take this twister or spinster and loop it into the other end. If you wanted, you could use a pen or a pencil instead for this part. And what you would do then is you would just slip the pencil in here and you would use it to do your twisting for you like this. Okay? But that takes a long time. So if you have a spinster, you can use a spinster. I have also heard that you can take a cup hook and put it into the chuck of a drill and you can use that and that goes really fast. Now from this point on, you want to make sure that you're holding your thread really taut because if you let it loosen up once you start to twist, then it's going to want to twist up on itself, which is what we want to do to make the cord, but we want to do it in a controlled way. So we're keeping this really taut and we are just going to twist and twist. And you want to twist this quite a bit. And I don't know if you can see this, but the cord is already starting to shorten up and move my hand forwards. So that's actually pretty good. We want to make sure that this is really quite twisted, nice and tight, but we don't want it to start curling up on itself at all. So keep it taut all the time. Okay, we want to make sure that our weight is handy while we're doing our twisting. So we're just going to finish up the twisting here. And we're going to place the weight on the cord. And we want to place the weight about in the middle of the cord, and we want to keep everything taut as we do this next step. Now I'm going to hold this weight about in the middle, and I'm going to move my right hand over towards the end of the threads here, and I'm going to take this off the hook. And as you can see, I'm still keeping everything taut. And as you can see, I'm still holding everything really taut. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let go of that weight at the bottom. And I like to let go of it gently. And the cord twists up on itself. Now all we have to do is remove the weight, which is really easy with this because it's on a lobster clasp. But it's also pretty easy if you use a set of keys. You can just untwist it from the split ring. And before you let go of the other end, you want to make sure that you tie a knot. Otherwise, your beautiful cord will come untwisted. And there we have it. There's our beautiful piece of twisted cord. It's a useful skill to have because you can always make a piece of cord that matches any needlework project or any home decor project. And you can make it as thick as you want it depending on the materials that you use. If at any time you want to cut a piece of twisted cord that you've made, what you want to do is you want to tie 2 knots in it and cut in between them. And then you'll have this piece for one project and this piece for the other project. But if you don't tie those knots, your twisted cord will come undone. I hope you find this video useful, and I hope you have fun making lots of twisted cords. Happy stitching!